We're going to talk to our panel now about trade and foreign takeovers. I mean, John, 80% of all our trade goes to the United States. Some people say that's putting way too many eggs in one basket. Other people saying, hey, this is the most dynamic economy in the history of civilization. Why would we not want 80% of our trade with there? Who's right?
Well, we have no choice. The United States is the world's largest economy. They speak English. They're next door. We're going to trade with the United States. That's just all there is to it. But that doesn't mean that we're going to be trading with the United States at this level forever. Mm-hmm. I think we see China rising, we see India rising, we see Brazil rising. These are all new opportunities for trade. They're also much more complicated problem, opportunities for foreign investment. Here's the thing. Canada's this huge country, right? Second largest country in the world by land mass. There's only 32 million of us. Half of Great Britain, 1/10 the United States. And the Chinese and the Indians are more than 1 billion apiece. There aren't enough of us to sell things to each other and make a living. And there aren't enough of us to invest in the mines and the railways and the ports that we need in order to get the stuff out of the ground or to manufacture the BlackBerry and to send it overseas. We have to have foreign investment in our industries in order to develop those industries so we can sell stuff overseas.
I want to get into to foreign investment, but I want to stay on trade first. I want to ask you, Tim, because you have insight into what the government is doing. They've had a flurry of trade negotiations with India, with Japan, with the European Union. What's going on there? What are they doing?
The government is pursuing, I think it's over 50 trade agreements, and I think it is, as John described, about diversity. You can't eat the same thing all the time, and we've done very well eating off the Americans and capitalizing on that particular economy. I think the American economy is in rough shape, as many people know. I think we have to look elsewhere. China, growing economy, perhaps the world's leading economy by 2020. It's important that Canada get in there or see if it can get in there. They want much of our natural resources, and it's always instructive to look back. And our history in Canada, even before Confederation, was that of a trading nation, but not to the United States. We sold our wood to Britain to build their entire navy. So we're continuing along a pattern of building strong trading relationships with different nations for different periods of time. That's how we've succeeded.
Scott, everyone in the world wants to trade with China. I mean,
sure.
Are we being foolish in kind of joining that path?
No, we're not being foolish, but it's a really good question because, I think we've been spoiled by the Canada-U.S. trade agreement, right? I think we think, well, it's a magic wand. You set up a trade agreement with somebody and bingo, there's a big job and growth machine in the backyard that just sort of fires up on its own. It's a lot harder than that. So I think the government's doing the right thing. I applaud them for trying to work on these many trade agreements. But I think we need to be a little bit more strategic. For example, I think South America is an overlooked gem when it comes to opportunities for us. It's hemispheric. There's a lot of opportunities, easier to get to, right? Not as far, just simple stuff. I think we need to look at that. Another issue that I think we've got to keep in mind is trade is trade. It's a trade. People want something in exchange for what the jobs and growth that you want. And I think we need to really think carefully about whether we are going to be playing under last year's rules. And last year's rules are, we're producing a bunch of energy, commodities, metals, all that kind of stuff. Somebody gets them and we get some other stuff in exchange. I think the world of manufacturing is going to reset. Labor worldwide has started to actually get cheaper, and everybody is starting to level off. I think now what's going to drive where you decide to set up a company and manufacturing and a plant is going to be the cost of energy. And Canada may have a distinct advantage in that. We may see 15 years from now, Canada's actually opening up a manufacturing sector that's much larger than we anticipate and think of now. I'm saying that sector isn't gone forever. We need to think about that and bake that into our planning.